Xia Xiyu blinked again. What do you mean? Just now this guy took a sip of ancient Chinese, and Bo Yan thought she understood it. It turned out that this guy was still a club, and suffered an uncultured loss. He put it in a simple way, idiot, what I'm afraid of is that after it is made public, you can't bear to get rid of me. I am worried that you will leave me. Fans are very important, but he does not live for the fans. It is impossible for him to satisfy the hopes of all fans, staying in love or getting married for the rest of his life, and guarding the fans to grow old. Once it is made public, he will not deny it, it will inevitably trigger a chain effect, and Xia Xiyu will be attacked more. As for himself, it's a big deal that he is not an actor. He changed his career and settled for a few years behind the scenes, became a director, learned knowledge, and then returned to his site with new works. He and Xia Xiyu are worried about each other. This moved him and blamed himself at the same time. As a man, you cannot protect your own woman. But after thinking about it again, Xia Xiyu is not a flower in the greenhouse, and what he needs is not his careful care. If he is a big tree, she is not a flower, but a vine, interdependent and experiencing wind and rain together. Xia Xiyu shook his head and sighed, actually, I didn't think about leaving you. Sometimes you are quite annoying. Bo Yan was stunned for a moment, just about to make a few excuses. Xia Xiyu said again, but I thought about it again and asked me to find another man who is tall and handsome, with good parts and good parts. It is not easy to find a man who is not wretched trivial. There is no other way. The marriage is over, so how can you divorce? Let's make do with it. Bo Yan was very angry and funny, and followed her tone and said, me too. If it weren't for your good looks, big breasts, long legs, and good flexibility for learning to dance, it's your bad temper. 11 out of 10 men have to retreat. But what can I do? I am also very desperate. Now the divorce is about to have a cooling-off period. After calming down for a long time, it is estimated that I will have to disagree, and I can only pinch my nose. Admit. The two make do with each other. There was a heavy topic just now, Xia Xiyu humorously went over with a slip. If you have been lost, maybe the two people will have a very low aura together. Bo Yan thinks he is not a sunny person. Only by following her will he feel that his heart is full of sunshine. The time for squabbles passed. At noon the next day, Xia Xiyu finally had a seafood meal. She originally thought that a honeymoon was a sweet honeymoon for two people, mixing the oil in the honey, and a sword in the mouth. Finally, she discovered that in addition to eating and sunbathing, she occasionally went to the beach to pick up a conch and swim. The other time was actually discussing the script. Analyze characters and ponder acting skills. They also declined all hotel activities, and no snorkeling banana boat seaplanes were needed. In the evening, two people took off their shoes and walked on the beach. The afterglow of the setting sun shone, and the whole small island was the two of them. She could run and laugh unscrupulously. In the past, even if they were dating, they had to be cautious, for fear of being discovered by people around them. But there is no such worry here, the world belongs to them. The two originally planned to stay here for 2 days, and then continued for another day, and did not check out until the morning of the New Year's Eve. Before leaving, Xia Xiyu was still a little reluctant. Shall we come back again? Bo Yan's pupils shrank suddenly, and his breathing became quicker. This guy is really a fairy. Really, if she is a man, she must be a super sea king. If this guy lived in ancient times, it must be the kind of disaster to the country. He hugged her tightly. In this case, I will replace your lovers and educate you well. Xia Xiyu didn't panic at all. He even hovered around his waist like a snake with his unusually flexible legs in dancing recently. It's rare for the sun to be so elegant. He sits on the ground here, and the sea is full of waves. I guess I will have to next time. Find a bush, a roof, or something in the wild. Indeed, the glass skylight above is open, facing the sea, and the building is on the beach. It is not wrong to say that it is on the ground. Only one piece, remember to hide the matriarch of the slave family, don't let people know it. Otherwise, the slave family won't be able to be a human being. Bo Yan squinted, don't let anyone know, is it? In fact, Xia Xiu just said casually just now, but he didn't expect to poke two people's points. At first they wanted to fall in love secretly and hide their identities, which was just a stopgap measure. Xia Xiu had no feelings for Bo Yan at the time, but was just a casual friend. Bo Yan also held a breath, unwilling to force her to admit it in public. But now, the original idea has long been obliterated. In fact, they have been jumping repeatedly in public or not. Bo Yan was scrupulous about her unwillingness to get in touch with the Xia family, and Xia Xiu was also afraid of affecting his idol image, and the two of them had a tacit understanding of neither. Even a slight turbulence would cause emotional disturbances between the two of them. Especially after the paparazzi is in hot pursuit, anxiety and anxiety converge little by little. But after Bo Yan mentioned this, Xia Xiu was stunned for a moment, and then grabbed his arm, if there is such a day, as long as you don't abandon it, I won't give up. The paparazzi are staring so tightly, they are not superhumans, unless they are no longer in contact for a lifetime, they will definitely leave clues. It is not terrible to be exposed, what is terrible is the troubles that will be digging into her and his family background. What she was worried about was getting involved with the Xia family and disturbing her mother's soul. But everything can't be developed with her ideas, as long as she and the unspeakable things are exposed, a series of excavations will be inevitable. But with thin words, she was willing to take a gamble. If she loses the bet, Bo Yan feels too stressed, or she can't bear to step on too much after falling in love with her, she can also understand. Then everyone should make it clear that she is an adult after all, and she will not blame him after weighing the pros and cons and separating her mind. This time, Bo Yanzhen's pupils changed dramatically. His pupils dilated in surprise, but after seeing the determined look on Xia Xiu's face, he instantly recovered his calm. He knew that Xia Xiu was most afraid of mentioning himself and the Xia family before she became famous. But if she had him, she might have the courage and strength to face. But this time, he didn't answer Xia Xiu, just stretched out his hand and clasped her 10 fingers, do you know what a husband and wife are? Xia Xiu tilted his head to look at him, and blinked his eyes, the husband and wife are birds of the same forest, so the catastrophe is about to fly. This guy is dumbfounded, and it seems that reading too many ancient books is not good. He kissed her lips, the so-called husband and wife are sharing weal and woe, and mutual benefit. Xia Xiu had a expression, young people, you don't speak martial arts. What are you doing? Bo Yan said calmly, I'm hungry, I have to eat when I am hungry. And I have no weight loss problem. I went to weigh myself this morning and I lost 3 kgs. When not with Xia Xiu, Bo Yan took a personal trainer with him even when he went to filming, and he exercised during the leisure time after filming. Although there is no need to train himself into a muscular man, it is his habit to keep in shape and exercise, just like eating and breathing. It is true that Bo Yan has not been fat, but men have a little bit more advantage than girls in losing weight. They have a large muscle base and are easier to keep in shape. It's just that this guy has also failed to learn, deliberately asked her many times, and finally ran to instant noodles by himself. And Bo Yan was not boiling instant noodles. He was surprised when he saw the kitchen utensils here. Hey, is there a pot here? The noodles are more delicious. Xia Xiu looked angry, why did he still eat instant noodles, or cook it? Bo Yan hurriedly washed the pot and boiled water. When the water boiled, he put the instant noodles on. The noodles are boiled for 30 seconds and then they are taken out, and a cold water is specially passed to make the noodles more elastic. Then boil water again, sprinkle the material bag, and rinse off. How should I put it, when the water rushes through the seasoning, the whole room is filled with the aroma of instant noodles. Xia Xiu secreted salivary amylase unconsciously, and his stomach began to gurgle. Boyan brought the noodles to a small dining table not far away from her. He even turned his head to the refrigerator and took a Coke. Instant noodles with cola is really a sin. The scent doubled instantly, and Xiaoxiyu's drool almost came out. Boyan also smiled and asked, "Would you like to eat? I'll give you a bit if you eat." Xiaoxiyu hurriedly sat up straight, with a stern expression on her face, "I don't want to eat. If you eat at midnight, you will get 3 kilograms of fat. You are fat." Boyan smiled and said, "Then there is no way." After that, he really took a bite of noodles and ate a big bite. As we all know, no matter whether the instant noodles are good or not, if they smell fragrant, the fragrant in others' bowls will be more fragrant. Xiaoxiyu looked at her and her eyes changed. She moved closer. "Is it delicious?" Boyan ignored her, lowered his head and took another bite. After the 2 bites, only half of the instant noodles remained. Xiaoxiyu looked at her and felt heartache. What smell? Boyan still ignored her, but he actually took a spoon and took a sip of soup. Xiaoxiyu looked at the packaging bag next to it. Fresh shrimp and fish pan noodles. This tastes so unpalatable, you need old sauerkraut to taste. As soon as he finished speaking, Boyan took out a small packet of sauerkraut that he had just taken in the kitchen area from his pocket and added it directly to the noodles. Not only that, he also took the ham sausage, an artifact of instant noodles, and slowly peeled it, ready to dip it into the instant noodles. Xiaoxiyu couldn't stand it anymore when she saw sauerkraut and ham sausage. Boyan knew she was greedy, and deliberately got up and said, "By the way, I forgot to make fried eggs. The noodles are delicious with eggs." He got up to fry eggs. Xiaoxiyu decisively seized his position, sucked up the noodles in a couple of mouthfuls, and retaliatedly ate his peeled ham, maybe because he ate too quickly and was a little bit squeezed, and drank his Coke swallow. Not to mention, the instant noodles cooked by Boyan are really soft, smooth, and delicious. Boyan came back with a pan. Not surprisingly, after she finished eating the noodles, she handed her an egg. "Do you want an egg?" Xiaoxiyu originally thought that if she and Boyan had a honeymoon, it should be sweeter. As a result, this guy fell asleep as soon as he arrived, perhaps because he has been spinning on the shaft recently and has been overloaded with work. "When I work, I have to work hard and not relax. When I relax, my whole person will be ready instantly." She and Boyan stayed asleep until midnight after checking in the afternoon. "When I woke up, it was already starry sky, the waves were always beating against the beach, and the hot and humid sea breeze looked a bit like Sicily. Maybe it was because of this familiar feeling, maybe it was because of the thin words around her, she slept very peacefully. But when I woke up at 2 in the middle of the night, I felt very annoyed. She is hungry." But at 2 in the middle of the night, the chef in the hotel had already turned off the fire and rested. They live on the island. If they are in the city, maybe they can order a supper. Living on the island, looking through the cabinets, there is still a little drink. In such a resort, apart from the more expensive drinks, beer and Coke are all drunk casually. However, I spent a long time looking for food, except for a little sugar from the hotel, welcome fruit, a few biscuits, and only instant noodles. Xiaoxiyu was still very tangled at first and ate fruit, but she hadn't eaten anything after lunch. The fruit was pineapple, sour, especially appetizing. The more she ate, the more hungry she got. I lost another 2 pieces of sugar. Although sugar has high calories, it is not full. So Xiaoxiyu turned his gaze on the instant noodles again. Anyway, biscuits are also high in calories, so you might as well eat instant noodles. But eating instant noodles at 3 o'clock in the evening is indeed so sinful, and she is still a female star. Xiaoxiyu is a little bit awkward. Boyan looked at her expectant small eyes, glanced at the instant noodle box next to him for a while, swallowed, and quickly withdrew his gaze. After 2 seconds, he glanced back secretly, then closed his eyes and shook his head. Boyan knew this guy was hungry and wanted to tease her, would you like instant noodles? Xia Siyu quickly opened his eyes and said in an exaggerated tone, what time is it now? Still eating instant noodles? Do you know how many calories are in instant noodles? A bag of 100 grams of instant noodles has 500 calories. 10,000 steps can be eliminated. Even during the day, it's midnight now. After eating, don't all the calories exist in the body? He said calmly, what's the matter, we'll exercise later when we finish eating. Xia Siyu looked surprised, how long does it take to exercise to digest it? Bo Yan smiled, that's no way. For my wife's weight loss career, I can only do more. Do you want to eat it? If you want to eat instant noodles, I will boil water now. Xia Siyu quickly shook her head like a rattle, I won't eat. She also squeezed her waist, there are soft flesh here. Bo Yan also touched it, but there was nothing at all. These days, she either goes to martial arts or dances. The waist and abdomen muscles are smooth, tight, unbearable grip. Xia Siyu is a foodie, but she dislikes the taste of instant noodles. If she changed to barbecue skewers, she would have started. Bo Yan still smiled, it's okay, you can eat, I don't dislike you. You don't dislike me, I dislike myself. Xia Siyu shook his head. You really don't eat? Bo Yan tentatively again. Really don't eat? All right. Bo Yan got up, then I will cook the instant noodles by myself. People who like her will like her personality very much. She thinks she is not pretentious or pretentious, and she is what she says. Of course, those who hate her are even more annoying, rude, uneducated, pretending to be forceful, and arrogant. Anyway, as long as you are a celebrity, you must have black fans, even if you don't have black materials, you will try to find black materials to black her out. He is going smoothly now because there is no large-scale blackout yet. In all fairness, if he had been hacked on a large scale for 3 years like Xia Siyu, he might not have as good concentration as hers. It turned out that he felt that being with Xia Siyu was only his choice. But now he feels that this is his luck. While talking, the shuttle bus from the hotel over there has arrived. Xia Siyu raised her chin, small words, I can't wait on them. Bo Yan smiled, stretched out his arm, Xia Siyu put on his arm freely, and was supported by him all the way into the car. When the drink was offered in the car, she also pretended to ask Bo Yan to help twist the cap. The resort hotel booked by Xia Siyu is a 5-star luxury resort hotel in Southeast Asia, which generally welcomes foreign guests. 3,001 night only stayed in the hotel's ordinary suites, and she needed more than 6,000 for a sing-lado or seaside house like her. The advantage is that it is quiet, there are few people, and will never be disturbed, and it mostly serves foreigners. She is not a fan of foreigners, but she just goes to the hotel with blunt words. Then you must find someone who is oriented towards foreign tourists. Even her registration certificate used her green card and passport of her permanent residence in Italy instead of her ID card. Upon check-in, she did not go by herself, but gave the certificate to her hotel butler, an Indonesian girl who speaks fluent English. She also told the housekeeper that she hopes to arrange staff from outside the country, and she can pay more for service fees and tips. Although it is more expensive, it is not impossible to operate. Like before, when she was dating Bo Yan, she only used one person's name to check into the room, or she registered with Wei Jingjing's name, and Bo Yan used Song Fengzi. After all, it was Bo Yan and her. Be careful to make Wanyan ship, she didn't want to be exposed at this time. The butler really helped her arrange the configuration outside the country, and the barge that picked them up was also a European. Leading them all the way fast, it took them half an hour to reach their seaside cottage. In fact, such a cabin is nothing special, and it can't be a toilet with diamonds and gold floor. What she and Bo Yan wanted was not luxury, but quiet. For people like them who have been surrounded by countless people and chased by spotlights and fans, a quiet respite is perhaps the most rare. Xia Xiu originally thought about a lot of tourism projects, such as snorkeling, banana boats, and surfing. But when she arrived in the room, the only thing she did was to kick off the high heels, throw herself into the center of the bed sheet, and then she didn't think about anything, just lying down. Bo Yan opened the door, opened the window, and the curtain opened. Water houses are generally built on small islands, even under their feet at the moment, half of them are sea. When you open the window, there is an invincible sea view, blue sea, blue sky, sandy beach, and seagulls are calling. Then he lay beside her, Xia Xiu rubbed against him, rubbed again. Bo Yan finally stretched out his arm to embrace her. Maybe there are still many waves in the ebb and flow, but at this moment, it's good to be able to steal half a day of leisure. Xia Xiu tilted his head, well, I don't think it matters. As long as you don't mind living in a room and sleeping in a bed at night. I mind. Wei Jingjing's cold hair almost stood up, and she fought a cold war inexplicably. Next to Song Fengzi also frowned, I don't want it. That's not enough. Because they were going to check out, everyone packed their luggage and was in the parking lot. Xia Xiu squeezed the luggage into Wei Jingjing's arms and greeted Xiao Tang to drive over, let's go, don't miss me. I will give you and Xiao Tang a red envelope when I go to work on the first day of the new year. Happy New Year! Wei Jingjing was pushed to the side of the car in a daze, and only reacted when she was about to get in the car, but Xiu, what about your car? Xiao Tang drove them off, where is she? Xia Xiu is not worried at all, don't worry, the new hotel will drive me to pick me up. She also replied in one breath, meals can be ordered for meals, and a car can be ordered for travel. If there is no money, there are bad words. Any questions? Wei Jingjing was blocked for a long time and couldn't answer. Xia Xiu closed the car door decisively, go in peace of mind. Song Fengzi was still a little bit hesitant. Xia Xiu looked at him with a smile, why, do you still want to persuade Jingjing to stay with us? Song Fengzi decisively got into the car, with a hint of a word. Before leaving, he pulled down the window and waved his hand to Bo Yan, Brother Yan, if anything happens, call me. I'll be on standby 24 hours a day. Xia Xiu gave another tisk, those who don't know think you two are really in love. What is popular now? I think Xiao Song, you can try it later. Song Fengzi quickly pulled down the window. Soon the car whizzed away, and finally only her and Bo Yan were left on the scene. Bo Yan glanced at his wife calmly, and then replied, don't you have a good mouth? How come you face the media and fans, so what you say is so stinky? At first, he felt that Xia Xiu was really arrogant and self-willed. When he liked it, he tried to chase people and kicked him aside when he was not interested. There is nothing to fear about bad reviews. Whatever the other party says, the black me is also to help me get mad. But seeing her befriend Wei Jingjing, half coaxing, half threatening, laughing and cursing, she was very close. He was more polite to Song Fengzi, but he was not deliberately provocative. It shows that this guy is not an arrogant, she knows how to get along with people, and she knows how to talk to achieve her goals in a simple and clear way. But every time she faces the media it is simply a large-scale stunt scene. If she can say a word well, she just doesn't want to run on you. Cut, what are you doing to coax those people? If I speak nicely, they will praise me? No, I will still scold you. Then why should I wrong myself to cater to them and be scolded in the end? Xia Xiu has never been a person who was bullied. Her long-standing fans for herself, such as Misty Rain in Midsummer, have become friends. But she didn't bother to give her eyes when she was black. The more you black me, the more I have to live happily and you off. Also, I'm telling the truth. I never lie, whether it's an interview or not. Bo Yan was defeated by her, this person, what should she say about her? From the inside out, the words and deeds are consistent, and they do their own way. From another perspective, she is not so popular, she herself is a walking newsmaker. During the whole Chinese New Year, although there are still a few days to run the roadshow, the extent of the roadshow is nothing, just take it as a free vacation. The roadshow only took a few days, and then the Lantern Festival was all her days off. She had already thought about it, pulled out the phone card, turned off WeChat, and had a happy vacation with Bo Yan. She has been in the industry for 7 years, and in 7 years, basically no years have passed. Every year, she is filming like a model worker. She and Bo Yan have been married for 3 years, and so far, they have not even spent their honeymoon. Although Chinese New Year is Chinese New Year and honeymoon is honeymoon, this cannot replace honeymoon, but it is better than nothing. In order to have a pleasant holiday in these 2 days, she and Bo Yan also deliberately found a luxury resort hotel opened by foreigners, which is usually visited by foreigners. The hotel is on a small island, isolated from the rest of the world, and the service staff are mostly foreigners. In short, if you don't know them, don't disturb them. However, here is the problem. She and Bo Yan plan to stay on the island for 2 more days, waiting for the day before the New Year to get stuck. However, she can stay longer, but there is no need to ask the staff to stay. Take Wei Jingjing, for example, since having been with her 3 years ago, she has been running around with her in recent years. Although Xia Xiyu had never treated her harshly and had a generous bonus, Wei Jingjing did sacrifice a lot of rest time. Not only that, she had to get into trouble and had to let Wei Jingjing wipe her ass. During the New Year, she will have a roadshow, and Wei Jingjing will follow along as an assistant. Originally, it was very troublesome for people to work from the first to the third day of the New Year. Naturally today, they were asked to take a vacation. But unexpectedly, Wei Jingjing immediately refused. "I'll go with you too. Don't worry, I won't bother you when you date Teacher Bo. Just in case something happens, I will be there to take care of you. Without me, you guys, isn't it convenient to take a courier and order a takeaway?" This is, after all, both of them are now the leading stars in China. As long as they go out shopping without wearing a mask, they will be recognized. There have been several times before almost wearing a gang. It was Wei Jingjing and Song Fengzi who dealt with each other so that they could turn the crisis into peace. After Wei Jingjing refused, Song Fengzi over there also shook his head. "Brother Yan, I'm here with you this time to help you deal with it. If I want me to go home, I will go back long ago, and it won't be delayed until now." Moreover, he and Wei Jingjing glanced at each other, and both snorted. "Why should you take care of my own artist?" Xia Xiyu didn't care, she just said, "You go live, it's not impossible." There is only a small island where we go, isn't there a lot of scattered islands here? This resort hotel is on those islands. The islands can only be connected by speedboats and water planes. Moreover, each island has only one villa. So you and Song Fengzi can live together, so it doesn't matter to you. Song Fengzi and Wei Jingjing were stunned for a moment, and the two looked at each other again, except for a little embarrassment in their eyes, but also a little uncomfortable. "Or, I'll book you a suite on the small island next door. If you want to come over, just take the shuttle boat. What's the point of living on the next island? They are there to help, not on vacation." In the end, he said, "Don't worry, I will take care of her. Will you give us some personal space?" As of today, Bo Yan no longer has much hostility towards this rival in love. The so-called rival in love means that only when this person has the power to be hostile to him will he attract attention. At that time, the relationship between him and Xia Xiyu was still unclear, but Xia Xiyu and Qin Beizu had been friends for 7 years and worked closely together. Qin Beizu is aggressive again, and he feels that he should be nervous. Of course, it doesn't mean that he doesn't pay attention to it now. It's just that the relationship between him and Xia Xiyu is stable, and Qin Beizu's operation proved that he was basically out of the game. Xia Xiyu looked reckless, but she had a small account book in her heart, and she knew exactly who was where. Between husband and wife, trust is the most important cornerstone. He trusts Xia Xiyu enough, and Xia Xiyu also treats him. Boyan turned a few more pages, looked at it, and frowned slightly after seeing the words "in love living together." No wonder Qin Beizu must come this time. He guessed that the turning point in his relationship with Xia Xiyu was during the 20 days of live streaming the variety show abroad. Although Qin Beizu didn't think anything wrong, it was indeed after that variety show that Xia Xiyu's alertness to him suddenly dropped, at least not like in the past few years. He would have to make a detour. But love is not an arithmetic problem, you can learn it from me. Love doesn't pay attention to first come first, and whoever likes is whoever is like it, and it's useless for others to get angry. It doesn't hurt for flies to stare at people, but it's annoying, and it's annoying to always buzz around. Take a look at this shooting time, May and June this year. Boyan has been reducing filming recently. Of course, it is not that he does not want to film. There are a lot of books in his hand. But if there is no particularly good script to be handed to him, he would rather not make it, and don't bother to roll in the bad film. It's just May and June. There is indeed a script he is optimistic about, which he thinks is not bad. But that script is about an international student. Now that the epidemic is serious, he may not be able to go overseas to film. For safety reasons, the filming side has not set a specific shooting time yet, and may continue to postpone it. If he wants to shoot, he may have to go overseas for a few months. But if he doesn't shoot, he can free up time to play variety shows with Xia Xiyu. For coffee and traffic like him, he can participate in variety shows anytime. After all, it was an epidemic, and the domestic recovery was very good in time, and many projects could not be launched. He also felt that he did filming for a few years, and it was a bit of a plateau. It wasn't because he was too tired, but because the previous years had used up his aura and vitality. He is indeed suitable to slow down, polish himself, and enrich his connotation. Xia Xiyu is developing, and he can't stand still. Xia Xiyu moved quickly to shoot the commercial this time, with a high degree of coordination. Although she took a break at noon, she concentrated and quickly finished the remaining part of the filming in the afternoon. If you just simply take a big head photo, take a short video, and say a few words, it will take less than 2 days. Mainly Xia Xiyu has signed their spokesperson and made a series of short videos. For the sake of more money, she smiled. After filming the commercial, she completed all of her previous tasks. After taking photos with the entire ad group, she can finally start her vacation life.